Okay, hey, I'm here with another video. Okay, so again, y'all might not watch my cartel crew, so I'm gonna just say here, I'll probably say it on my other video too. I am very sorry that I am late on the videos. I did not feel well at all this week, and on top of that, I was really busy with work. Before I go any further, let me give a whole shout out to Ebony K. Williams, okay? Miss Ebony, okay? Let me tell y'all. So I had seen that she did an interview on I think it's called, see, I don't remember what it is, but it's the name of this podcast that, like, with these two women. It's like the On a Joe Button Podcast Network. It's like the two women that do it. I can't think of their name, can't think of the podcast, but shout out to them. I Seeing that she did an interview, like, she was a guest on there. So I went and I looked specifically at the part where they was talking about the Real Housewives, okay? And I was just like, bruh, everything that she's saying is everything that I've been saying in my reviews. And I felt the same way when I watched her Breakfast Club interview. The same way, I'm like, everything she's saying is what I said. All right, this is why me and Ebony here. So I was like, you want to know what? And I never do this. I'm telling y'all, I think I've done this twice my entire time on the internet. I said, you want to know what? I'm gonna DM Ebony and I'm gonna say to her, I hope she watched my reviews, and if she don't, I'm gonna send her a link. I did that, sent it over to her, and to be quite honest, I deleted the message because I don't know, it's just like secondhand embarrassment type of thing. Tell me why, y'all, a couple hours later, she wrote me back. When I'm telling y'all, I almost fucking kicked down my damn door. I was so damn excited because y'all don't even know outside of the show how much I really stand Ebony. Like, I can still be like fair, of course, with my critiques of her, but y'all know how much I really stand this woman. I damn near almost like bust out into like full tears because she told me, I ain't gonna tell you everything that she said in the message, but she did say that she really liked my reviews and she took the criticism that I gave her very well. She wasn't upset. She wasn't like, oh, fuck you. Da, 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 da. She took that criticism very well. So I want to say shout out to Ebony. Shout out to you, sis. Let's get to the episode, shall we? Because it was a whole lot of foolishness this episode. And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to keep up. This really won't be that long a review either because it was a lot going on, but it wasn't a lot at the same time. So let's get to it. All right. So we're back where we left off with the girls in a little circle, okay? So we pick up with Ramona talking to Sonia over at the bar and pretty much saying that, if I think about everything that's wrong in the world, like, I'm just gonna have a breakdown. I don't want to think about it. I don't want. Okay, this is what I was saying before, Ramona. Just because you don't think about it, that doesn't mean that it's not happening to other people. And that's the problem of what I was saying last time about people who only live within their bubble. You don't want anything negative, which I can understand not wanting to be around negativity, but you are living in a false reality to just walk around all day and say, I don't want to talk about anything and I don't want to hear about anything that's gonna make me come down. That's real life stuff that people are going through. That's a shitty ass excuse and answer as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so Ebony is talking to Leah and talking about how she just wants to move forward at this point in time. So Sonia is trying to explain to Ramona, like, I don't really think what Ebony was saying was like that bad. And the whole time she's like trying to explain herself, Ramona's cutting her off and be like, okay, well, what about the matchmaker? Okay, well, what about the matchmaker? Okay, well, what about the matchmaker? And Lou comes over and is saying the same thing. And at this point, you could tell like Sonia's annoyed. Like, girl, you're not even trying to listen to what I'm trying to say. And it's very annoying. Okay. So, Ebony's talking to Leah and, she kind of was referring to what she did last week, which is, I just want to make sure, that you're on the same thing as me. And Leah was like, I really think that she just supports him because of the tax thing. And she was like, that's fine with me, but I need to know and understand that. And I'm sorry, and this is me saying this, with somebody like Ramona, you don't know that. You actually have to ask questions, okay? You got to, because even some of the stuff, like I said, that she said last week, like I said, as much as people might have been annoyed with Ebony, Ramona proved Ebony points with a lot of the comments that she made last week. And the fact that she made that comment this week of, oh, I don't want to hear about all of that. You proving her point at the end of the day. So that's just that on that. So then Lou comes over, and again, like I said, this is why I said me and Ebony are here, because she literally said exactly what I said. Lou, I appreciate the fact that you sat here regardless of how tough it is. Did I not say that last week? Did I not say that last week? Okay. So she was like, I'm glad that you just sat here and you listened to Lou. You know, in her confession, she was like, you know, well, I don't like the fact that, you know, you just called us white supremacists. She did not say that. Lou has a really bad problem with the listening. That's not what she said. She said, I want to make sure that you guys are not aligned with white supremacy. Not that you guys are white supremacists. That's not what she said. Lou has a like really bad problem with that. So Lou and Ebony, they said that they're cool to move on. So one thing I did notice is that when they were all sitting down at the dinner table, that Ramona said to Sonia, why do I keep saying Sonia, yeah, come on, sit next to me and Lou, sit next to your real friends. And I don't think nobody but me caught that, but rewind the tape, she definitely said that, and I definitely feel like that was at that time a shot towards Ebony, because obviously Sonia and Ebony are becoming a little bit closer. I really feel like that was a shot at Ebony, and I don't think nobody but me caught that. So then Ebony reveals that her grandma died. I don't know why, but this whole scene felt very fake. And when I mean fake, I don't really mean on the side of Ebony's side, because obviously her grandmother died, but Ramona's reaction to that, everybody else's reaction to it, it was just like so freaking fake. Love Leah to death, and I know she was triggered by it, but like I don't know if it's the music behind it. It just all felt very like contrived. Not contrived, that's not the right word, because I don't feel like it was made up. I just feel like it was a whole lot of phoniness going on, and I don't really know how to explain it. Maybe it's just the way that they framed it. Maybe it's just the way everybody was crying. I don't know. Fake ass Ramona with her fake ass tears. I cannot. So Ebony said that she wanted to get a tattoo of her grandma's name. Leah said the same. I don't even know what Ebony got done, because girl, I couldn't see nothing. Maybe because you too light skinned, or maybe because it hasn't healed or something like that, but I ain't see nothing on there at all. But that's fine. Rest in peace. My condolences go out to you and to Ebony and her family and things like that. Very sorry about that. So then we have Sonia, Ramona, and Bershawn, and they're talking, and Bershawn is asking them about, you know, like, y'all have a problem with people who have tattoos. And first, because I think Sonia said something to Ramona, and at this point we all know Sonia's lit like she always is. She's like, our daughters would never get tattoos, okay, Ramona? They would just never do that. And Bershawn's like, why, do you have a problem or something like that with people who have tattoos? Yes, I do. And she was like, well, why do you have a problem? Then Sonia was like, I didn't say I had a problem. Your drunk ass did. So they go back and forth about that. So at this point, Bershawn and Sonia are getting a little bit more heated, because they're going back and forth about whether or not something was said about a tattoo. Who gives a fuck? So then Bershawn was like, Sonia, just go ahead. You've been drunk all damn day. You've been drunk all damn day. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, I cannot. So the next morning, all of the girls get up, they go and they get ready. Ebony goes to Bershawn's room, okay? And so, you know, she's just asking her, like, you know, like, tell me what you think. What you think about what's going on? And Bershawn was like, I do think it's a little bit preachy, you know, and I think it's a little bit much. But, you know, I get your intentions, but I do think it can be a little bit much. So Ebony is like, you know, I get that and I understand. I can definitely understand how being rich, white, affluent woman in a certain bubble, like, it's going to be uncomfortable and probably annoying as fuck for y'all to hear me. That's why I don't understand, like, people are trying to act like Ebony is not self-aware of what she's doing. She's very aware of the fact that to everybody else she's coming off preachy and teachy. She just don't give a fuck. Like, that's what I'm trying to understand, why people, this is like her third time saying that she knows and understands how people are perceiving her. But this is why, and this is why she don't give a fuck. So let her be her. Just let it be what it is, okay? So Sonia tries to talk to Ramona again in the morning time about what happened last night with Ebony. And oh my gosh, is that a fucking spider, y'all? Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. There's like literally a spider like climbing up its fucking web, but I don't want to hit it because it's directly above my fucking bed. So I'm gonna kill it when it gets to the top. But anyway, so Where we at? Okay, yeah. So Sonia was trying to talk to Ramona about what happened the previous night, and Ramona again doesn't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it because y'all know she wants to stay in her bubble. Anyway, so then they go on. All the girls get ready. They go on a tour of Pioneer Village, which is 1638. Bershawn is like, "Girl, Ebony, me and you, we damn sure ain't getting," because they wanted them to get into these like little costumes at a time. Bershawn was like, "Ebony, as much as me and you, we ain't getting into that shit." And just like Ebony said, "I'm not dressing as the colonizer." I know that's the fuck right. So the girls go and they look at everything, blah 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 blah, and Sonia at one point in time is talking to Bershawn. Now she's talking to Bershawn about all of these different problems that she's having, right? But what she's not talking about is how alcohol is playing into a lot of this. So she's talking about her townhouse. She's talking about the divorce. She's talking about the bankruptcy. And she's talking about how alcohol has it's nowhere in the equation at all. So Ebony and Leah are kind of like overhearing, notice like she kind of in denial about like her drinking and stuff. And I really think that's something like, we should probably talk to her about. And especially, Leah, she's like a recovering alcoholic. So is Lou. So, they're thinking maybe somebody should talk to her. So now it's time to go to dinner. Okay, so they go to dinner. At first, everything's going cool. Everybody's talking. But then out of nowhere, Bershawn is like, "Oh my gosh, I'm bored. Like, I'm bored. Y'all is like a bunch of grandmas." Like, and everybody's like, "What?" Even I was like, What? So, I'm going to be honest. This whole thing where Bershawn gave me, bitch, you was looking for, excuse me, I don't want to call her bitch. Girl, you was looking for a moment. That's what it was giving me. It was giving me very much so, I need to shake the table because obviously everything with Ebony is now died down. So, what are we just going to do? Walk around, have a good time? No, like, let me shake the table. Let me be the person to say something. Because like the women were saying, I don't understand what did you expect? Y'all went to a restaurant in the middle of like, it looks like it's cold outside. Because no, it's Halloween, around Halloween, right? So it's kind of cold. We're going to a restaurant. Like, what do you want exactly? So Ramona ends up getting up and standing on the table at some point and being like, woo, 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 being fake as hell with her dancing. And it's like, is that what you expected at this small gathering? Like, I don't understand what Bershawn wanted. I can understand if y'all went to like Cabo, or if y'all went to like, like some nice island and everybody was just being all like this stiff up and tight or whatever and not really having a good time. But maybe that's a boring trip to you. Why don't you say that? And why don't you say next time, I thought this trip was boring, but I don't understand what you wanted from the girls at the time. So of course, Luann, like she normally do, is the one that takes offense the most, which I can understand though. And so Ebony's on the side. Listen, I peeped Ebony. Ebony was in the back, get her little, I won't say digs in, but it was kind of like little shots in. But she was trying to help her at the same time. It was like half and half, because she was like, "Girl, that's not the best way to get in. Like, you don't want to do that." Like, and Bershawn, so they're like, "Well, Bershawn, like you talk to us, like what you been going through, seeing how like we're all boring and stuff like that." And she was like, "I got a lot going on, like I'm like suing this person and going through a divorce." And Lou was like, "That's what you want to talk about? Like, that sound boring to me," pretty much saying like that shit sound boring as hell, so I don't understand what you want. So then all the girls start going in again on her, and Sonia jumps in with her. Sonia's very intoxicated and she's going off like, we're not boring, that's real to say. So then Bershawn was like, "Girl, stop being a clown and doing the most like you always do." And everybody was like, ooh, 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 ooh. So then Leah and Lou jump in and they're like, "Don't say anything about her. Don't talk about Sonia. What's wrong with you?" And I feel like the reason them two in particular really jumped in for her is because of the fact that they all know that she kind of has a problem with alcohol. So for you to sit up there and say to somebody that you don't really know, "Oh, you're a clown," when in our reality she's actually dealing with an alcohol problem, I think that's why those two in particular were triggered more than anybody, because we used to be that. So to sit up there and call her a clown when she actually needs help is sad. And that's why I think Leah kept saying, "You don't even know her. So why are you talking about her? You don't even know her." So that's where I feel like that energy was coming from. So that Ramona's like, "Well, like Bershawn is my friend and, she's normally funny and all this other stuff. She's not being funny now. She's not being funny." And I'm like, That's all Bershawn is for you? Is Bershawn just funny to you? Cause she not have emotions like Ebony? Cause she not get upset? I find that funny because all of your other friends around here, they do the same thing that Bershawn's doing. Maybe not right now, but they all at one point in time have done that. Keep your eye on shit like that. That's all I'm saying. Keep your eye on shit like that. So, like I said, this is when Ramona gets up and dances on the table, blah, 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 blah. So then all of the girls are still going back and forth, and Leah is just like, girl, like, I don't even know what you're doing. You're doing the most. Like, why are you starting shit? Like, why are you, like, trying to stir the pot? And then Bershawn was like, I'm not going to even really say anything about you because the girls is already dissing you, Leah. And so everybody's like, what? When? Like, so Leah's like, who? And at this point, Bershawn don't want to say she... Leah copied her and said, and that shit was funny as hell. She's like, and like, get it out, sis, get it out. And so eventually Bershawn was like, well, Ramona was the one who was saying that she didn't feel that close to you, and they showed a flashback of when them two was talking. And Ramona was like, I didn't talk shit about her. Why would you say that? Then Sonya gets up and screams at Bershawn and tells her to shut the fuck up. I'm telling y'all, it was a whole mess. And then y'all, it was just so much bullshit to me, okay? Then all of the girls, because Leah ends up leaving, so Leah, Lou, and Ebony leaves, and then Sonya's still at the table yelling at Bershawn. Ramona, Bershawn, and Sonya ends up getting up, and they outside. It's just them three, and Ramona is like, you don't do that. Like, why would you tell Leah that? You need to go back and tell her I never said that. And Bershawn was like, I just feel like y'all all walk on eggshells with each other. Okay, but this is not really your friend group, and you're not even a permanent housewife, so you don't really get to say that. And I don't know if this was your attempt for you to, like, really get an apple. I don't know why they didn't, like, pick you and stuff like that. But this ain't it, girl. This ain't it. This is not how you get into this friend group. You don't step into it. Ebony had enough problem as it is, but you don't step into this group and start calling people boring and telling people who talked about who. That's some messy ass shit. Nobody wants to be around that. They would rather deal with Ebony and her nonsense than that, I tell you that much. So once they get back to the hotel, all of the girls go to, I don't know, this lounge part. So Bershawn comes in and says, oh, I'm drunk or whatever. And Leah's like, don't use that as an excuse, because you walking a 6-inch heels fine. You was just fine. You meant it. And then later on, she was like, oh, I'm a blabbermouth. That's what it is. And so the other girls, they're like, this is before Ramona and Sonya gets there, because they went somewhere else. And they was like, we feel like Ramona set you up, Bershawn, because she told you some stuff about Leah, and she probably was expecting you to treat her a certain way. Y'all, I'm exhausted because this whole thing was just a little bit too much. Long story short, Bershawn tries to apologize to Lou, but she really don't, okay? Then she talks about how she doesn't do boundaries, and she don't do being PC and all this other stuff. Okay, well, you need to do boundaries, like Lou said, because everybody has boundaries, or we're going to end up like a Crystal and a Sutton situation, okay? Then Leon and Ramona on the side, they make up. And then, like, Sonya's being, like, super, super drunk, which she was. But then Bershawn, like, that. My thing is, that she's drunk, right? Obviously. So why are you even going back and forth with her? Maybe you was a little litty, too, but, like, there's no point. You kind of, like, apologized to Sonya, but then turned around and was, like, called her like a hoe and a stupid and clown and all this other stuff. I mean, Sonya was doing the absolute most, and she was giving me a fucking headache. Like, for real. She was doing the absolute most. And she was being, like... It was like she was trying to copy her diction, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't even know. It was weird. It's like she was trying to copy, like, the way Bershawn was sounding, which was, like, weird to me. And I was like, really, Sonya? But at the same time, Sonya's annoying. This whole thing gave me a headache, y'all. This whole episode, it was a clusterfuck. I don't even know how to properly review this episode because it was just a clusterfuck of everybody arguing and annoyance. But y'all get in the comments. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm out. Bye.